Noisy Pixel.
Metroidvanias are a dime a dozen nowadays. You don't have to look far into the lineup of indie or doujin titles to find one. Still, despite there be so much choice in the ever-popular genre, very few actually nail game design and core game mechanics. While only a limited number of titles have stood out as memorable releases, developer Team Ladybug is doubling down on their Metroidvania Touhou Luna Nights by bringing it to Xbox One. Touhou Luna Nights' setup is quite fascinating and multifaceted, where the protagonist is a badass maid. She goes up against a range of fantastical creatures out of Japanese folklore, with a few mechs thrown in for good measure. As soon as the game gets underway, it becomes clear that it's meant to be an innovative, modern interpretation of Symphony of the Night, and this homage is undoubtedly done in a somewhat self-aware manner. The game pokes fun at Metroidvania design conventions many of us take for granted as being completely normal. For example, the way save points work, or even the trope of the main character losing all their abilities at the beginning of the game, only having to regain them throughout the adventure. Once the quest gets underway, it's basically what you'd expect from this type of game, but it's all done so very well. Touhou Luna Nights feels brilliant from a gameplay standpoint. The ergonomics of the controller just right, and even the basic knife throwing attacks had a fluidity that makes it easy to chain up an impressive combo. One of the few things that has always set Symphony of the Night apart from other 2D action games was Alucard's smooth movement and momentum. Throughout history, few Metroidvania titles have come close to emulating this, but surprisingly, Touhou Luna Nights captures it perfectly. When the core game functions so well, it's easy for it to be simulated in a fun Metroidvania game world. In this regard, Touhou Luna Nights doesn't necessarily offer anything remarkably new, but what it does provide is fun and engaging nonetheless. The enemies and boss battles are exciting and gel well with the smooth combat system. Furthermore, the exploration has the addictive hook that the genre is known for, where you will want to discover every square of the map and then gradually learn new skills and abilities to access other parts of the game's world. All of this probably sounds like old news to genre fans, but the game does an excellent way of keeping the player engaged throughout its set pieces, many of which are based on classic Castlevania segments. While most of the game emphasizes exploration and combat, there's a great deal of clever platforming and organic environment puzzles. What comes together really well in Touhou Luna Nights is its presentation. The 2D graphics shine through thanks to the fluid animation and blistering particle effects, and the characters and enemy designs in general are quite cool and interesting, especially when there's a mix of so many contrasting styles. The music is a tour de force in the truest sense, a wild mix of genres and instrumentals to create a sense of energy in the overall soundtrack. There's guitars, symphonic arrangements, and a lot of keyboards to bring it all together. For players who are returning fans from the PC version, there's an extra boss here who might be keen enough to return to the game to fight. Touhou Luna Nights is one of those video game experiences that feels so familiar but is executed so well that you can't help but enjoy what it offers. Sure, every game should aspire to reinvent the wheel or try to emulate the best qualities of standard bearers, but games like this simply recapture the magic and feel of genre classics. In this case, it's the sublime composition of some of the genre greats, but this time you're one classy maid who is excellent at throwing knives. Noisy Pixel is giving Touhou Luna Nights on Xbox One an 8.5 out of 10. Thank you for watching. Please read the full review at noisypixel.net. Noisy Pixel is run by a group of gamers who work hard to deliver news, reviews, previews, and more. Please subscribe to keep up with all our future content.